Welcome to American BBQ'ers. Today, we're going to talk about trimming chicken thighs. Got my chicken thigh right here. If you notice, I've got a cutting board on top of my normal cutting board. I always use a separate cutting board for chicken, just to help with cross-contamination. So, you have your chicken thigh. If you look at your skin on your thigh, you'll notice you got obviously all the top. When you flip it over, you do have a flap that comes underneath. Locate it where that flap connects to the chicken. Okay, so we know it connects on this side. So what we do, we're going to start on the top. Our flap's connected over here. That means the skin on the top can pull away to this other side. That's where we're all connected. Okay. Now to trim your chicken thigh, you've got this little membrane. It's on the skin. It's usually in between the skin and the meat. And it will get left behind once you pull your skin away. You can take your knife and scrape. Once you get it scraped to an end, you can usually pull it off, or it'll come to a little layer of fat. Then at that point, you just take your knife and you trim that bit of fat off. You notice we have some right here still. Okay, you just take, I'm kind of bringing it all the way down to this side over here. Then once you get it over here, you're just going to take your knife and give a little trim. You will lose a very small amount of meat. However, for your texture and the overall product, this small amount of meat is not going to mean a whole lot. And most of your barbecue competition chefs, they're going to trim this piece of meat off anyways to make all of their thighs more uniform. Okay, once you get that membrane off, you now have this piece of skin. This skin, you can't really see through it right now. Believe it or not, the skin has a layer of fat on the underside. That's one of the reasons why we peel it open. So what you're going to do is, with a sharp knife, you're going to kind of fillet that fat layer. And once you get that fat layer started to move and come off, it actually works its way off fairly easy. Okay. You're going to do this to the full underside of the skin. And once you get it started, you actually can take and scrape with the blade of your knife. If you notice, just that little scraping action. Have some fat. And this is a good way to make your chicken a little healthier. A lot of people will remove the skin after they cook it to get rid of all the fat because they don't like to eat the fat. They're trying to stay healthy. Well, if you remove the fat from the skin, you don't have to worry about removing the fat. You can actually eat the skin. And also in doing this, you're going to help this skin get nice and crispy. When you cook it, it's not going to be chewy. It's not going to be that thick chewy because you didn't render all the fat when you cooked off the underside of this skin. Okay, and that's one of the big reasons why turkey is so much healthier for you. If you look at a turkey breast or a turkey thigh, you can pretty much see through that breast or thigh skin, and you can see the actual meat of the chicken. It's because you don't have any fat on the turkey. That's why it's a lot healthier for you. It's definitely leaner than chicken. But after you learn the proper way to trim your chicken, and you can do this with your breast too, especially this is doing a thigh, but your chicken is going to become a lot more healthier. It's going to be a lot like turkey. Okay. Now that you've got most of the big chunks of fat, I like to just take one more time and just scrape down the inside of this skin to help remove that last little bit of fat that could be left on. As you can see, I'm still getting some of that fat off. Scrape it towards the skin to get this, or towards the meat to get the rest of this up here. And on this, when I'm doing it this way towards the meat, a lot of times it will not come off like that. It'll end up with a little flap. You can pick up that flap and then take your knife and give it a trim right off. I've got a little thicker part right here. I'm going to take it off like so. Okay. And then just give your thigh on the top a good once over. If you notice any larger chunks of fat, now's the time to trim them off. Got a little piece of fat right here. It's actually on the skin, I mean on the meat, like so. Okay, once you have this done, fold your skin back over, flip your thigh where you see the underside. You will have some fat that needs to be trimmed here. Now this is a little easier if you do this trimming while your chicken is still slightly frozen. Okay, when I buy my chicken thighs in the store, I buy in packs of 8 and I vacuum seal them and freeze them in packages of 4 for my family. So if you actually do this with it slightly frozen still, it's a lot easier. Now, this bottom flap on the skin, you're going to, again, scrape the membrane down towards it. Then I remove it completely. Has no purpose on the underside of that chicken thigh. Then I flip it over, and you'll notice this, your skin is going to be paper thin. Spread it out over the top of your thigh. Okay. And then anywhere you see the skin is actually not touching meat, it's actually touching your cutting board, you can trim that off. Get rid of all that extra skin that you don't need. Okay, like so. Got a little piece back here. Make sure you don't pull it. Okay. And once you have your thigh nice and trimmed, don't know if you can tell, don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can actually see the meat through this skin like you would a piece of turkey before you cook it. From here, you can do anything with your chicken thigh that it's nice and trimmed. You can season it and just cook it as is, throw it on a smoker, smoke it. Endless possibilities with obviously chicken. But there you go. A nice trimmed chicken thigh. Virtually no fat left on it. It's going to be a lot healthier than all this other fat that we've taken off of it. For more videos, please subscribe to the American BBQ'ers channel. And if you would like, head on over to Z Girls Nation Facebook group and request to join.